Should companions be banned in MTG? What do I think? Welcome in, fam. Much love. Trav here. It's been a minute, and before we get to the content talking about Magic, this is Betty and this is Becky. They're Berkshire pigs. So, first of all, in Magic, what's going on? Sup, sup, sup. Sup, sup. Everybody say hi. We're not going to see paper tournaments for a long time. Mid 2021 is my earliest. It could be even 2022. I could be wrong, but that's what we're looking at. Because of the COVID thing, things got shut down. However, Magic's not going to die. It's just moved online. I think Wizards is going to be okay. And in March, I saw a ton of players lose their jobs, quit playing, people dropped from our program. But in April, a ton of people got on unemployment. And if you're on unemployment, you're making pretty good money right now, maybe more money than you made working, and you have free time. So we've got a lot of people joining our program. It's kind of interesting. Me personally, I've been talking about it. Who knows? But I don't think I'm going to be coaching Magic after this year. It's just not where my time is, and I don't want to be mediocre in anything I do. I want to be excellent at everything that I do. So if I'm going to be mediocre because I'm not spending the time, I'm just going to focus on agriculture. Okay? So if you've wanted to work with me, you haven't had an opportunity to work with me, now's your last year to do so, most likely. Okay, now to the topic of companions. Companions have certainly changed the game to a tremendous degree. Let's move to the car, because I know there's going to be a lot of wind. Say bye, Betty, Becky. Now to the meat of the video. Companions. Companions have changed the game, and there's basically two options for Wizards. And I think I know what they're going to do. So, what are the companions? Why have they changed the game so much? Because here we have a mechanic where now you have to cater your deck building to play a certain card. But the advantage of that is you get to not only start with 8 cards, which is a huge advantage, but it's a spell, and it's probably your best spell. So yes, it creates redundancy, but it lowers variance a lot. People are always complaining about variance. People are going to complain one way, too redundant, too much variance. But for Magic to establish itself as a legitimate esport, it's going to be looking for ways to reduce its variance, and Companion is a mechanic that does this. Companion allows you to play an extra land in your deck. I haven't seen everyone doing this, but you can cut a spell from your main for an extra land. You're going to hit more land drops. You're going to have your spell on time. And that's good. We're going to come back to the problem with the redundancy and how they can fix that. But another cool thing that it's doing is it's adding a lot to the deck building element of the game, which for many players, myself included, is the most interesting sub-element of the game, of actually building the decks. We're seeing all these crazy decks across all formats. Standard is actually really diverse, the different companions with the different decks. Not everyone's playing companion, most people are. But personally, I found myself looking at deck lists for entertainment more than I have in years. Just like looking at what are the new decks, oh, this one's really cool, this one's different, oh, this one, I never thought of that, that's cool. And it has everything to do with the companions, because you have a 5-0 Lutri deck that plays all singleton. You have all these good 80 card decks that are sort of crazy. You got decks that only play odd cost, decks that only play even cost, decks that only play. So it's good for deck building, good for lowering variance. Problem is that it's too redundant. So there's a couple options here. Wizards could just ban them all. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they understand, hey, we're introducing basically a new rule. Elder Dragon Highlander Commander is extremely popular. Let's port one of the coolest things about that into regular Magic. And let's shake things up. Like the Planeswalkers, people didn't like the Planeswalkers at first. Some people still don't, but it's part of the game now. You have your Planeswalker, you have your companion. So maybe certain ones will need to be banned, like Lurrus may be banned in Modern and Legacy, but there's a couple other ones. But I think really what Wizards should do and what I'd like is for them to print many, many of them. So you have many options that compete, that have similar deck building restrictions, but do different things. And that will reduce the variance. That'll reduce the redundancy of playing against the same ones over and over again. And again, you can just ban one if it really is too good. But I don't think the problem is the mechanic. Personally, I think it's pretty cool and have no problem with it so far. But that's just as an observer, and that's as a deck builder. So my prediction, there's a couple that will get banned, and Wizards is just going to print quite a bit more like Planeswalkers. There's going to be new companions in every set. It's just a new part of the game. It's a new rule. And anytime you make a change, people are incredibly emotional. This goes for Magic, this goes for life. But in Magic, anytime you make a change, people are really emotional at first. They love it, they hate it. The more noise about a new mechanic, it doesn't indicate that it's bad necessarily. It indicates that people's emotions are getting involved, which is a good thing. People are excited, they want to share about it, they want to speak out about it. But as an observer, like more people are building decks, the deck lists are crazier, variance is getting reduced. I'm happy. I think it's cool. So let me know in your comment down below, should they be banned? Should they not be banned? I vote just print a lot more. Like print 5 to 10 companions in every set and make them all strong. If something is way too good, is like 40% of the meta, ban it. But we're not there yet. The top of the meta is 17% in standard. Fires of Invention with Karuga, but some Fires decks are playing Yorion, some are playing Gyruda, and there's like 6 kinds of Yorion decks. There's like 3 kinds of Gyruda decks. There's a lot more competitive diversity than I've seen before in a while, and I think it's going to allow the deck building element of the game to have way more depth, where people are going to be able to break it again. And also, not only are people going to be able to break it, but people are going to be able to homebrew successfully again. My favorite time in Magic was breaking out Living End and decks like that, and that's hard to do because the deck building has become sort of shallow, and there's so much information, people solve it faster. But now, it's a lot harder to solve. There's way more combinations of decks you can try, where someone can break out with something new again. And I don't think that's just because it's a new standard. I think that's because companions add so much depth to deck building that we're going to see more and more of that. So I think that's really cool. And I hope they print. I hope they stick up and they print more. I hope they don't back down and ban them. So that's my vote. Let me know what your vote is down below. Those of you who always wanted to work with me but haven't had an opportunity and have been putting it off, this year is your year. So if you have time, if you have money, and you're playing a lot online and you have serious goals in Magic, go ahead and fill out the form and schedule a time to talk, and we'll take care of business. Appreciate you. Much love, and talk to you soon. Peace.